All right, welcome everybody to a special live stream today. We're going to be talking about AI stocks. AI stocks are on the move. Now, we've had a bit of a pullback last few days or so. But again, AI, artificial intelligence, is a major mega trend. And we're still really in the first inning. This is kind of where, these stocks are starting to gain some traction. Investors are starting to figure out that this really is a mega trend. And, today we're going to be talking about a couple of stocks which I believe could be some massive winners. Now, here's what I'd like to do. I want to look at these stocks really to help you out through the lens of this book, 10-Bagger Blueprint, which basically is a system for finding stocks that can increase 10x to 100x or more. That's right. You can make 10 times to 100 times your money if you follow the system in this book. Well, I mean, I should say it's not guaranteed, okay? This is for entertainment purposes only. But again, this is my proven system. I've created over $1 trillion in wealth for investors over the last 25 years, helping introduce stocks that have, again, increased. We've had many 10 baggers, too many to count. We've had 100 baggers. We had just one that was bought out last week after many years. Heska, HSKA stock we introduced at, I think, $2 back in the day. And I think it was bought out at $120. But listen, what this is about is what we're going to be talking about today is stocks that can go up potentially 10x, where you can make 10 times your money in the next 6 to 9 months. I believe with the AI megatrend, there's going to be massive opportunities to make literally 10 times your money in the next 6 to 9 months. Again, we've had this happen before. Look, I've introduced you guys to CBDT, a stock that went up from a nickel to $2.50 in 6 months. ESC, a 10-bagger. Visby Group, 1,400%. Fans United, etc. So before we dive into this, I want to kind of let's look at we're going to be looking at a couple of stocks, but I'm going to be talking about Bullfrog, Soundhoun, Palantir AI, C3 AI, BigBear, all that stuff. But first, I actually want to show you a stock which I believe this is probably the best. This is one of the stocks that's been totally undiscovered up until now, and that is AIMLF. Right now, AIMLF. Why is this stock so cheap? Actually, let's look at the AIMLF here. Yeah. This thing is this is the 4-hour chart. Let's look at the daily here. Yeah. Let me give you kind of the background. So we've seen this thing has been trading 70 cents plus just in the last 18 months or so. And again, if you read the book, you know what I say. You want to find these charts that have that wide, massive double bottom and have been trading at much higher prices. Now, here's what is amazing about this stock. It's been completely overlooked by investors. Again, analyzing it through the lens of my book, 10-Bagger Blueprint, you got to understand one thing, right? A lot of these AI stocks have already taken off, right? A lot of these things are already up, have already doubled or more, right? In the last couple of 6-8 weeks, a lot of these things have exploded in price, right? This stock you can still get cheap. It's still trading at a valuation of how much should this thing be trading at? Ask yourself this question. This company is at the intersection of health tech and AI. Essentially, it's a doc in a box. A doc. It gives you, medical diagnosis. It's a wearable device, right? This is. Oh my God, the battery is amazing on this watch. I think I charged this like 3 months ago. Basically, it takes all your vital signals, it sends them up to the cloud and analyzes the data. The AI analyzes the data, and it can make a diagnosis. Okay. Now today they announced a new thing called it's a new thing called Health Coach, which is essentially sort of a natural language AI model. Essentially, this can give you exercise advice. It's called Health Coach. Again, a natural language model will tell you exactly what you need to do. But really, what this device can do is it can really pretty much diagnose a lot of medical conditions. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't want to make this is not a medical claim or anything like that. essentially what this can do is it can take it takes your pulse, it takes your blood pressure, it takes temperature, it takes heart, a whole bunch of blood glucose, tremendous amount of measurements. And those things, essentially, the AI can figure out what those things mean. Now, am I making this up? No. Look, when you go to a doctor, right, the first thing they do is, right, the nurse, goes through all your, gives you a bunch of these little tests, temperature, blood pressure, all these different things. And then, from that, the doctor can more or less figure out, hey, kind of like, okay, what may be going on. This system has actually, we've had examples of this, is actually has changed, has changed, it's saved people's lives. I mean, we've had a case study where a guy was in Mexico, and a Canadian of all people, and he's wearing the device. All of a sudden he's not feeling so well. The data goes to his doctor. Doctor says, hey, you better go to the emergency room. And the guy goes to the emergency room, and it turns out he was having a heart attack, right? This thing can diagnose a lot of things. Bottom line is this. It's trading at a valuation. How much should this thing be worth? 100 million, 50 million? By the way, they have a massive patent which covers, a lot of pieces of the wearable device space, which is a $20 billion market. How much should this thing be worth? 100 million plus? No. You're not going to believe this. AIMLF is trading at a valuation of less than $5 million today. I mean, it's amazing. And again, one of the things I talk about in my book is you got to get into these stocks cheap. You got to get these stocks cheap, especially if they're penny stocks. By the way, if you guys have been thinking a lot of these penny stocks are scams, it's a pump and dump, scams, whatever, you're right. 99% of these penny stocks out there, more or less, they're kind of, they're scammy stocks out there. So why don't you turn the tables on these companies, on the promoters, on the whole thing, right? Turn the tables. Here's how you do it. You got to get into these things at the ground floor. You got to get into them when they're cheap. Now, I'm not saying this thing is a scam, or not at all. What I am saying is, anytime you get into a penny stock, or any stock for that matter, you got to buy it right. You got to buy it under a 10 million valuation. Then you're safe. Then you have an upside. Like today, I'm seeing investors buying crazy stocks like this HC on the New York Exchange, which is basically a pump and dump. Let me show you that chart just to give you an example of a real pump and dump. What a real fugazi hypercharge. This company is trading at a couple 100 million valuation. Look at this. This is a classic pump and dump. I mean, look, these guys are basically doing a complete online pump and dump, buying pay-per-click ads. So there's a couple of other companies versus VERS, which we know is a pump and dump, also on the New York Exchange. Look, once these guys stop the promotion, again, they're spending probably $1 million a month. No, not exaggeration, $1 million a month on promotion to pump up that stock. Why? Ask yourself why they're pumping up that stock. I don't know. You got to draw your own conclusions. But here's what happens. The people who are smart, look, if they bought the stock at 45 cents, 20, 30 cents, whatever it is, 35 cents, if you're buying the stock at 35 cents, okay, I get it. You're taking a shot. But now it's trading at a 200 million, 300 million valuation. Where's this thing going to go? They got no revenues, right? That's the whole point. You cannot pay more than $10 million. You can't buy these things for more than $10 million valuation. Now, let's look at this chart. This thing, by the way, another thing I talk about in the book, this thing is breaking out. Look at this chart. It's above the 50 and the 200-day moving average. Every time it's happened in the past, the stock has exploded. I mean, I'm not making this up. Take a look. You had this, actually, let me show you the Canadian chart because that's a little better example. Okay. It went from 12 cents to $1.50. So it was a 10 bagger in a matter of months when it broke above the 50 and the 200 moving average. It happened again here. So it went up only about, 30%. This is the third time it's happening. Is it going to go up 10x? Is it going to go up 30x? 30%? I don't know. It could be somewhere in between, could be more. I think this thing really could be trading at 100 million valuation right now. It can get up there. It can get up there to 100 million valuation without any problems. And again, that's kind of the sweet spot in these stocks. You want to, You want to get into them when they're still below 100 million valuation. That's the whole idea. Right now we're trading at a 5 million valuation. So this thing would have to go up to a 20 bagger. It would increase 2,000%. You'd make 20 times your money if this thing went to 100 million valuation. Can it get there? Why not? We're seeing, I just showed you a chart, HC, hypercharge. What do these guys have? Nothing really, right? So why did that stock move? Promotion. How about Versus? Another stock which just got nothing, right? How did that thing go? It's promotion. It's got 100 million plus valuation. What do they got? They got nothing, right? Bullfrog AI. We'll talk about the other guys in a second, but let's look at this through, again, I want to look at this through the lens of a proven system that works. Again, if you don't have this book and you're trading penny stocks, if you do not have this book, which you can get on Amazon, 10 bagger blueprint on Amazon, 20 bucks, 19.95. If you don't have this, I got bad news for you. You're going to get taken. You're going to get fleeced, okay? You're going to get fleeced. You're going to get turned upside down by your ankles and shaken out. You're going to lose all your money because you don't have the edge. You do not have the insider information that this book reveals so that you can make smart trades. I know you think you do. I'm sure you think you know everything. I'm sure you had a couple of wins. Okay, good for you. Listen, again, they call me the $1 trillion man. I've created $1 trillion in wealth for investors. I mean, I countless stocks that have increased 10x, 100x. Hey, I got old copy of Wall Street Reporter magazine here. This is 2005. 50, this is almost 20 years old. Which companies do I have here? Agnico Eagle, Rio Tinto, Gammon Lake. The company, the stocks in the front. Oh, I even got Peter Grandich, guru here. Just on this page, these things have increased 50 billion in valuation. I mean, we've had in the last couple of years, stocks have increased by 10 billion plus. Fubo, FUBO, stock we introduced OTC, went up to the New York Stock Exchange, went to what is it, $65? Not bad, right? So let's look at this through the lens of the 10 bagger blueprint. And here's the key thing, right? You got to realize at the end of the day, these stocks, it's kind of like a horse race. It's like you're betting on long shot horses, these 100-to-1 horses. If they come in, you're going to make 100 times your money. Now, here's the key thing, right? Here's the thing. The reality is AIML, this stock is priced. It's priced at 100-to-1. So it's like 100-to-1 racehorse. But the real odds are probably 20-to-1. Again, it's not like 5-to-1. It's 20-to-1. It's a bit of a long shot, but it's not as crazy as the market thinks. I mean, if you really understand the situation. So if this thing works out, and again, the reason why it's trading at a 5 million valuation is investors have not figured it out. Again, I cannot believe that I'm doing, this is like the third or fourth live stream I'm doing, talking about this thing, and people still have not figured it out. Do you remember AIML? CBDT. It was a nickel. It went to 250. How about Peak Fintech? 70 cents. It went to $14 or 35 cents to same thing. How about Cytodyne? 50 cents to $10. Nobody believed those things either, but they all exploded. The same thing is happening here. Again, nobody believed those things. And the reason they were cheap is, they were not kind of perfect. They had maybe the CEO wasn't telling the story right. There was a couple little quirks that these things had, right? Again, if these things were perfect, you wouldn't be getting it at a 5 million valuation. You'd be paying 50, 100 million. You're getting it cheap here because it's got some quirks. Mike Hunt. Okay, the guy's reading the book. You haven't read it? You got the book. You just got to leave a review. Just go to Amazon. Just say this is the best thing you've ever read. You've already made 10 times your money. Listen, here's the crazy thing with this book. Again, I'm not getting rich selling this book. I mean, we've sold a ton of books. I'm not going to get rich selling a book for $20. The only way I get rich is if AIML goes to $1. Then I get rich. Okay, if this thing goes to $1, and investors can make 10, 20 times their money, I get rich from that. Okay, I don't get rich selling books for $20. on Amazon. I mean, you know, I'd have to sell like 1,000,000 books or a lot of books. I'd have to sell a ton of books. The reason I wrote this book, very simple. I need you guys to become informed investors, to know when to buy and when to sell. That's right, when to sell. Here, the problem is I can't tell. These are client companies, right? So AIML, that's a client of Wall Street Reporter, right? That's how these stocks go up. We give them exposure, we get them eyeballs. More demand for the stock equals, you know, more demand. The stock goes up, right? But I'm never going to tell you to sell the stock. I've never told anybody to sell a stock because I can't do that, right? This is the companies are clients, and you know, why would I do that, right? It's ridiculous. But this book will give you the signals to know when to. Okay, it's like you're on a plane, right? It'll give you the signal when to start packing the parachute, when to start moving towards the door, and when to jump out of the plane. Okay, that's what this book will tell you. It'll tell you when to buy, when to sell stocks. It'll give you foolproof system. Again, and this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not here to, oh, geez. You know what's crazy? Listen, everybody's got an opinion. I actually had a guy who read the book. He's, you know, heavy duty guy. I mean, this guy's like not a billionaire, but you know, he's worth a couple $100 million. Read the book, and his favorite chapter was the chapter on the charts, on the technical analysis, because I explained to you very simply, hey, here's where do you buy a stock, here's where you sell a stock based on the charts, based on moving averages, based on patterns, all that stuff. This guy loved it. Great question. Great question. We're going to be doing an update maybe Friday. Let's talk about AIML. Here's what's amazing with these guys. Today, they released, I wish I would have done a better job with the press release, but essentially they have a chat GPT-like product for, for health tech, right? So this is the thing called Health Coach, where you wear the wearable device, takes all your data, and basically could tell you, you know, what to do to improve your health, right? Again, you take, this is not medical advice. They do have some, significant patents. Again, less than a 5 million valuation. You cannot go wrong. Where is it going to go? Here's what you got to realize. These guys have revenues. This is not a bullshit company. They have revenues coming in from patents. That's right. They got revenues coming in from patent royalties. They got, and that's just day one. That's just day one. Here's the thing you got to realize. This thing is, it's got multiple catalysts in place where it can become a 10-bagger. You got multiple pathways. Number one is you have the patent side, which is, I think, kind of a layup. I don't think people have realized it, but I think it could be a layup. All they got to do is start enforcing the patent, hire a couple of law firms, and start getting the royalties. That could, that business alone could be worth 50 million. Again, it could be worth 50 million by itself. That's conservatively. My opinion. I'm not a patent lawyer. I'm not I've done deep due diligence. My opinion, based on the data I have. Again, should be worth 50 million based on the patents. This thing is trading at 5 million valuation. Number two, you have the revenues that can start coming in from the health coach thing. That's the new product that they announced. That's the AI health device. Multiple paths. Again, 5 million valuation. How could you go wrong, right? The chart tells you everything you need to know. This thing is breaking out above the 50 and the 200 moving average. Very nice bounce today. And look, I think this thing could really start exploding once we break out of this 20-cent level. Once we break out of this 20-cent level. Amazing. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this thing is so cheap here. Let's take a look at a couple of other charts. Let's look at some of the AI charts. C3 AI. Okay. What's going on here? Again, the trend is actually up. The trend is up. We're below the, what is this? This is the 50-day moving average. Probably, I have a feeling that this thing might pull back. Again, I did this on the last live stream. It could pull back into this kind of 20 range, maybe even 17. But the trend is up. I think this thing is going to keep going higher. It's got a lot of strength behind it. How about BBAI? BigBear AI Holdings. What does this company do? I have no idea. Maybe it's a scam. I have no idea. This thing is, again, the chart is, I wouldn't want to short the stock. It's got a little bit of weakness right now. It's definitely got some weakness here. This is not the best buy in the bunch. How about Soundhoun? Soundhound, on the 4-hour chart, the day traded chart, we might have a bit of a pullback to this 280 range. Trend is still up. I mean, this thing wants to go higher, really wants to go higher. So even if it pulls back a little bit, it's not, I don't see this thing going down. It might pull back in this 260 range. You'd be lucky. Generally, this thing definitely wants to go higher. How about Palantir? Palantir is breaking out. I mean, look at this chart. We're above the 50 and the 200. This thing wants to go higher. Is it an AI stock? A big data stock? I don't know. It's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you want it to be. Now, this thing has had a couple of fake outs in the last couple of months. So this chart signal is, you want to be careful, but it's definitely a very bullish signal. I mean, this thing wants to go higher. Yeah, I mean, this thing looks ready to rip. Palantir. Palantir looks, oh, shit. There you go. There you go. More chartless face. Palantir looks ready to explode. Palantir wants to explode. Why? I have no idea. The charts don't lie. Again, if you read this book, 10-Bagger Blueprint, you get on Amazon. The easy thing is this. It's above the 50 and the 200-day moving average. That means the trend is up. That is one of the simplest trading systems out there. Hedge funds have made trillions of dollars, literally trillions of dollars, using this basic system. You have actually a golden cross here. A golden cross. That's right. Golden cross. You got the crossover here, 50 to 200. Stock breaking out. This thing wants to explode. Now, where can Palantir go? We're going to have a little bit of resistance in this $15 range. If it breaks out of 15, next level is $25. So you can have a quick, double, triple here with Palantir. Very likely, very possible. Or with AIMLF, you could have something that can go up literally 10x. Again, this thing is trading at 12 cents Canadian. So, is it 9 cents, 10 cents US? Look how hard it bounced off that moving average. Now, again, this thing has been very illiquid. So you're seeing these very choppy moves because there's not been a lot of trading right now. It's only like a couple 100,000 shares a day, maybe. And that's enough to move this thing in a big way. So when this thing gets moving, it could really, really explode. Again, what I like about this thing, is that the odds are in your favor. Again, this book, 10-Bagger Blueprint that I wrote, it's all about putting the odds in your favor. Because if you don't have this book, if you don't have 10-Bagger Blueprint, you're going to lose your money. You're going to get fleeced, especially with penny stocks. The market is, the odds, it's really stacked against the individual investor. You got to realize, especially with these Canadian listed stocks, most of them are basically pump and dumps, right? Or scams or whatever it is, right? If you read this book, it'll tell you how to turn the odds in your favor. And that means learning how to buy these stocks cheap at the ground floor where you have an asymmetrical setup, right? Where, for example, AIML, you're getting this thing at a 5 million valuation. The upside potentially could be 100 million. You got a 20 to 1, right? You can make 100 million plus, your downside is 5 million, right? So your downside is what is it? It's 10 cents US. Where is it going to go to a nickel? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to go to a nickel. The upside, it could be a buck US, right? So you can make 95 cents. Your downside is a nickel. I think that's a pretty good setup. You're risking a nickel to make 95 cents. Where else do you get that? If you look at even Palantir, it doesn't give you the same type of odds. Palantir, I think actually, Palantir. Let me go back to Palantir for 1 second. Palantir downside is probably 820, 790. Let's call it $8. So you're risking it with Palantir 60 cents. Possibly you can make let's say it goes $20, $24, yeah, 20 to 1, whatever it is, right? I think AIML odds are much better. I mean, you get much bigger upside over there. What else can we talk about? Again, multiple shots on goal, multiple catalysts that can move this. Whether it's you're talking about the patent upside from the litigation, from the patent royalties coming in, whether you're talking about new product sales, health monitoring to be used as a remote patient monitoring device. Again, you're paying $5 million. How do you lose money? You don't. It's sort of like, this reminds me of some years back during depths of the real estate crash. You can buy properties in places like Vegas and Phoenix for like $50 a square foot. Houses, nice houses, right? I mean, $50, $60 a square foot. That's below the cost of replacement, below the cost of construction. If you bought it, you couldn't lose. I bought some places. I basically tripled my money. I should have held on because I would have made 6 times my money. But bottom line is, you can go wrong if you get something below its real value. You cannot go wrong. Again, it's my opinion. I could be wrong, but again, so far I have a pretty good track record. Again, I think AIML is going to be one of our biggest winners. And how do I know this? Because this thing is still, nobody's watching it. It's been completely overlooked. This stock's been completely overlooked by the market, by investors. And that to me is a very positive thing. What you don't want, one of the big sell signals, is when you go on one of these message boards and forums and you see everybody's talking about a stock and it's all hyped up. There's nowhere else for it to go. Like you saw that stock HC, which is pump and dump in Canada. Look at this thing. It went from 30 cents to $6 in like in a couple of weeks. Why? I mean, it's a scam. It's a pump and dump. It's a complete. Is it a fraud? It might be a fraud. Again, you're paying a couple $100 million for a company that they're going to be doing what? Charging, electric vehicle charging in apartment buildings. Okay, great. That's a commodity business. You're competing against who? 20 other players out there. Some of them are major players. This thing has absolutely no chance. They raised money here at a buck, which was very smart. That's a positive. They could have raised money at a higher price, but whatever. That's a positive. But this is a stock that you should have been getting out of the stock. I mean, because think about it. Where is this thing going to go? It's going to go from 300 million, 200 million. It's going to go to $1 billion valuation for a company with no revenues to speak of. Never going to happen, especially for commodity business. When you buy something for 5 million, which has valuable patents, which has multiple catalysts, that's when the odds are in your favor. So we're going to have another update on AIML later in the week. I just wanted to do a quick video today talking about some of these charts. What else is moving here? BBAI, AI, AIMLF, SOUN. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. Yeah. Bottom line is the AI trend, we're in the early stages. We're in the early stages of the AI mega trend. Um, but there's going to be a little bit of consolidation with some of these stocks. And the market is going to be looking for value. The market is going to be looking for value because so far we had the low hanging fruit that exploded. That was the stocks like BBAI, Bullfrog, Soundhoun. Those were the low hanging fruit. Now the market is looking for what's the next thing to move. They're going to go down the chain, and AIMLF has been one of the few that's been really undiscovered. Again, you're getting it at a 5 million valuation. I don't see how you can go wrong. Let's see what happens. Okay, next live stream is going to be Friday. We might be doing an interview with the company. It'll be very exciting. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. See you on the next one. Thank you for joining.